Hi and a huge welcome to Steve's Kitchen. Today guys we're going to be talking custard tarts. One of my subscribers, Fit Ange, had requested I look at custard tarts. Now I love the old traditional custard tart, this one here, which is famous the world over, but also when I've travelled throughout Asia and throughout the world, you come across this Pastel de Nata, a Portuguese custard tart. It's an uglier looking tart, but wonderful to taste and simple to make. So today I thought I'd show you how to make this very simple Portuguese custard tart. It tastes wonderful. Let me show you now the recipe. Now the simplicity of the Portuguese custard tart is just using a puff pastry. Now I've got a store-bought puff pastry. Nobody really makes their own puff pastry anymore. So the traditional way would be to roll out some puff pastry from a block and then roll it up into a tube like this. And then we would cut off about 1 inch or so of puff pastry. And then you would take your roll of puff pastry into a muffin tray like this and use your thumb to push the pastry into shape to make the form of the custard tart. So you end up with this fairly rustic looking puff pastry tart. But I found with experimenting that because puff pastry is already a layered pastry, it's as simple just to take a 3.5 inch cutter and cut out your circles like so, and lay your circles, just basically drop them into the centre of your muffin tin and allow those little wrinkles to stay. I think that actually adds a beautiful rustic finish. So there I've got 12 rustic, beautiful looking puff pastry tart cases, and I'm ready to make my custard filling. Now I love making homemade custard, it's so very simple. I've got 4 egg yolks which I just separated, put the egg yolks in there. I'm taking 3 tablespoons of Castor sugar, that's superfine sugar I think the Americans call it. I've got 1 tablespoon of corn flour, or maize flour, and I've got a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we're just going to cream those together. And when your mixture is nice and smooth like that, we're just going to set it aside and go over to the stove. I'm just adding 3/4 cup of milk to a small saucepan and 1/2 cup of thick cream. And this is optional, but you can add a rind of a lemon and a stick of cinnamon. And we're just going to bring that up to the boil to scald the milk. We want to keep an eye on it because I want that to bubble and start to rise in the pan. So we're looking now, you see the milk is just starting to boil up. Keep an eye on it. That is what we would call scalding the milk. It's just going to rise. That would go over the top really quickly. We'll just give it a little stir. And then as it comes up like that, just lift it off the heat. And then we bring that scalded milk right over to our egg mix. And using a whisk, we're just going to pour that in and whisk all the time. We don't want it to go lumpy. So now I'm just going to take the lemon rind and the cinnamon out of the mix. I'm going to return it back into the pan. Now we bring that back over to the stove and we're just going to continue to stir that as that comes up to a boil and we get that lovely thick custard. Now very quickly it will go to a lovely thick custard like that, and I've used a small whisk here just to stop it from going lumpy. And then take our custard mixture and just a couple of spoonfuls usually it takes just to fill these a little short of the top. They're going to rise quite a bit as they cook. Try not to let it overflow over the top of the tart. Now those custard tarts are going to go in the oven at 180 degrees, that's 350 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 20 minutes. You keep an eye on them, I want them to go a little dark on top. So you'll see why I didn't overfill the tarts, because the egg custard, it puffs up like that during cooking, and we want to get that little dark crust on the top as well. And there you have it guys, there's my Portuguese custard tarts. Now these are still piping hot, they've got a lovely little sort of crusty base to them, and the custard has just dropped down in the centre. When these have cooled down just a little bit more so I don't burn my mouth, I'll give them a try. So let's give one of these Portuguese custard tarts a try guys. They're still lovely and warm, and they do taste delicious warm, they taste delicious cold as well. I'll give this one a go. So that is absolutely delicious guys. It's wonderful. You've got the cinnamon flavour, you've got the traditional custard, there's just a little hint of lemon in there as well. It's great. I really hope you get and try these. They're simple to make, very quick, and anybody you give one of these to will love you for it. Thanks very much. Look, if I get chance, I'll do the traditional custard tart as well. I've got a lot of requests to work through at the moment, so be good. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. And thanks, Vidange, for the suggestion. Custard tarts, guys. Portuguese custard tarts. A little history on those. I believe that many years ago the monks used to use the egg whites to starch their clothing, and they were left over with all these egg yolks, so they wanted to find a way of making something with the egg yolks, and that's the origination of the Portuguese custard tart. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. It's a great story. Be good. My subscription button's above. A couple of other videos up there. Take care. I'll see you next time. Be good.